Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Hot Topic live stage. It's been a wonderful couple of days, and it's been great to everyone involved in the festival. And we are massively supporting Hospitality Action with it, and there's a great amount of work coming through. But we would love some more donations coming through there, and we've got an exciting new competition coming through for donations. If you donate more than £10, you could be in with a chance of winning a meal for two at Lumley Castle, and also that's for two people and a place at Hart Hill Cookery School. So a post will be going up for that shortly. Please do get involved and donate to be in with the chance of winning that. Here's a little piece about Hospitality Action and the work they do.
I didn't know that I would become what I now represent, hope for many thousands of HIV cancer patients. Hi, I'm Adam, the London patient. What drew me to hospitality was my passion for food. I started very humbling as a kitchen porter. I like to cook. I want people to enjoy my food. I think I found a lot of pleasure in that. My HIV started in 2003. At that time, it was very fear when I gave the news to get HIV. Then by 2011, 2012, when I was diagnosed with cancer, but this time fearing my mortality and without knowing what's going to happen. Because I think when you have cancer, the panic set in. You felt really overwhelmed by the whole, wow, I'm going to die. And for me, it was like the second time around feeling that. I thought I would be prepared for it, but you never prepare for it. By 2015, the final told me, unfortunately, now you become terminally ill. How do you hear about Hospitality Action? I think I heard through Macmillan Cancer Center. Because I was chef, they told me, oh, you know, it's a charity. Who can help you? How Hospitality Action helped me? I think it helped me in two ways. They helped me financially and later emotionally as well. Financially, during all the treatments and facing homelessness. That was very hard. They maintained my level of safety net. I'm still very grateful for it. They did help me in a really incredible way I couldn't ever even imagine when I received in the post an invitation to go to a Cirque du Soleil. They gave me a big smile because I felt part of a family. I was going to see my doctor and he called me. I was on a double-decker bus and he said to me, I got very good news to you. We find a match to do the transplant, to able to cure, and we're hoping to cure your cancer, but it's something else we want to tell you. We think and we hope we can cure as well your HIV. And then a big smile came to me, wow, I'm actually going to be cured of HIV in my lifetime. I don't think I can believe it. I have a stem cell transplant. Something happened when I had my transplant. I was given a card saying, your life start again, day 0. It's very strange going back to Adam, but now at this time it's different. I go with a sense of purpose, more into helping people and giving hope. And now I treasure my life and I want to live my life to the fullest. How we can describe Hospitality Action to people in the industry, and I will describe it as a compassion charity who cares passionately about the members of the hospitality industry and the care, and I can tell you from my own experience how mentally they helped me on that situation to give me a smile in my face and to able at the same time helping me to keep a roof over my head.
We helped Adam in his time of need when he was just Adam and not the London patient. No matter who you are or what brings you to us in the first place, we're here to help you, and we'll show you the same compassion, care and support as we did to Adam. Hospitality Action, we've got you.
I'd like to say thank you for everyone who has donated. We have raised £470 so far for them. But now to our next lineup of the day, we have got Field and Forage, and we've got Charlotte joining us from there. Hi, Charlotte. You okay?
Hello.
How are things?
Hello.
I can hear you.
Brilliant. It's always slightly nerving.
It's great. So tell us a little bit about Field and Forage and what you guys are about.
Yeah, so Field and Forage, we set Field and Forage up off the back of, we're farmers, we're predominantly beef farmers, but my husband's family also are dairy and arable farmers. And we wanted to take a product to market. We looked at milk to start with. This was about 10 years ago. But there was a lot of barriers in the way, sort of taking raw milk to market to the public. So we looked at the beef on the farm, and we started doing farmers markets. And then they finished about 4 or 5 years later, and we wanted another outlet for the beef. And I had been sort of catering on and off. I'm an absolutely passionate home cook. I adore food. I adore different tastes from around the world. And I love really sort of hearty food and feasting. And we'd be doing bits and pieces like 21st birthday parties. There was a wedding reception. And it just struck me that we should be using our beef at kind of these sort of feasting events. And we went to a local food festival, Malton, which is about 40 minutes away from the farm, and we had a really successful weekend there in our little converted horse box. And then we were booked for a wedding, and this was 2015, and it's just taken off since there. So that's what we've been doing for the past 5 years. We've focused on weddings, which I'm missing. I'm really missing at the moment.
So you're not a venue yourself, but you go into other venues and cater at the weddings, don't you?
Yes, that's right. So we do probably marquee weddings are our specialism. We're very sort of happy to set up a field kitchen.
Marquees and teepees and things like that.
Yes. But we also have some great local wedding venues. There's a fantastic vineyard, Little Wolds Vineyard near us. There's a brewery, Woldtop Brewery near us that we do lots of weddings at. The Beverley Barn, loads of different sort of kind of more informal weddings, if you like. It's that sort of element.
Well, Woldtop have been actually involved quite heavily with the festival and putting a lot into it. And they're a great little company and a great little place there.
Sorry, you broke up there for a moment.
I said Woldtop, they've got a lot like going on. It's a very interesting venue, and they've been involved in the festival quite a lot.
Oh, absolutely, and they're awesome people to work with. And Anne up there, who's managed Muddy Soul Weddings, she sort of recommended us to sort of gave us our first break, and we were very much indebted to her. We love doing weddings up there. But one thing we're going to miss massively is their festival. They have a festival there called Moonbeams every year. We do very little street food and festival catering now because we focus on the weddings, but Moonbeams is one that we do every year. So if anyone's watching from the Moonbeams crew, hello, and we're going to miss you this year because unfortunately with the current situation, it's not happening.
Before we dive into obviously the field and the foraging aspect of the business,
yes,
how has all this coronavirus affected you and the business?
I mean, from day to day, it hasn't. From the farm point of view, the cows are still being milked. This year, we've taken our first cut of silage, which will feed the cattle over the winter. And, spring sowing took place. So from that point of view, it hasn't affected us from day to day. But from Field and Forager's point of view, massively. I mean, as you know, you guys over with you at your wedding venue, we've had postponements now until the end of July. I'm really hoping we get some sort of clarification of what's going to happen going forward. But
yeah, and there's still people in July and things like that and going, oh, we are definitely going ahead, isn't there? And you're just thinking in the back of your mind that we don't know. We can't tell you you're going ahead.
No, that's right, and it's a really difficult one, and I'm hoping we're going to get some clarification sort of soon, because obviously July is these poor couples that they need to start organising things if they are going to be going ahead. But yeah, we'll see. So from that side of Field and Forage point of view, I'm now feeding my family. They're very happy. The brownies that I make aren't going to weddings. They get to eat them at home. So they're very happy. But we've got a tasting barn that we have monthly supper clubs in. And we've not been able to hold those. And yeah, so Field and Forage is kind of very much carrying on, and the produce that we would be using for our weddings we're trying to preserve in any way possible, so lots of rhubarb jams and chutneys and wild garlic in oils, and I'm off to collect some wild garlic flowers for the buds to pickle that we can hopefully use later this year.
I've just heard about your rhubarb just before, haven't I? And you're doing something very interesting with it. Some people will cringe that you're not drinking cider, you're making a cider rhubarb vinegar.
Yeah, I know. And I was just going over to my, I use a lot, I love vinegar, I love flavouring vinegar, but I had some beautiful organic vinegar which had a mother left in it. And for those that don't know, the mother is the fermenting process. And for an unpasteurised vinegar, it's, I think, Google it, because there's loads of different, lots of health benefits and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I finished a bottle of this beautiful organic apple cider vinegar, but I still got the mother. So I thought, well, I need to make some more vinegar. And anyway, because of our tasting barn, we had a box of cider that has gone out of date. And I won't be able to use it, when we eventually get back open. So I'm really sorry to all you cider lovers. But yes, I'm turning it into apple cider vinegar. And I know there'll be people sort of not happy about that, but it will get used. It means that we're going to use it later in the year for dressings and so on.
So going on to the foraging aspect, because something's just come up on the feed. So pickled garlic buds, out of this world.
Yes, absolutely. We're near the coast over in East Yorkshire, so we're a little bit. There aren't that many at the moment. The wild garlic's still in flower, so the buds are only small. So I'm just waiting for a bit longer before I go and collect them. And I did go to my wild garlic spot 2 days ago, but it was like Piccadilly Circus. It's in a wood, and there were so many people, and I was gutted. So anyway, I didn't stay. I came back to the farm. I didn't get out. So yes, I'll head back there. Hopefully after half term, we should be on for the buds. But they're great. It's a real sort of garlicky pop of loveliness. Yeah,
definitely. So talk to us about a bit of the foraging aspect and what you do with all them.
Sorry, again, you broke up there.
Just talk to us about the foraging aspect of Field and Forage.
Yeah, so I am, as well as a passionate home cook, I'm also, I adore my kitchen garden. It's my escape from the family and everything that's going on, and I love spending time outside. But I also love learning about everything that's growing in the hedgerows around the farms. I believe that hugely in seasonality, and not only growing stuff, but also just seeing what's growing around us and what we can use in our cooking to sort of add flavour. Particularly at the moment, there's if anyone's interested in looking and taking up foraging, it's a great time to start. The only thing I will say is you have to be absolutely 100% in what you're picking is wild garlic or is hawthorn leaves or whatever it is that you want to forage. I think dandelions are an awesome way to start, because you can't really mistake them for anything else. And I think the chap who was on before me, he's done some brilliant recipes.
Yeah, there was all sorts of different bits going on before you, wasn't there? With the sauces and everything like that as well. And we had Nathan doing a lot of different foraging recipes as well. So let's talk a bit about the cattle, because it's got a quite good story and a very interesting breed you've got as well.
Yeah, they're not the easiest of breeds, but the beef is incredible. We have a herd of pedigree belted Galloway cattle, which we wanted to breed our own herd, so we sort of went about the difficult way of doing it. We bought some young female stock and then sourced a bull from somewhere else, and we've been growing the herd gradually over the past 6 years now. And they're a very slow growing breed, but the beef is worth the wait. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. So any other interesting bits about what you guys do?
From sort of the farm angle, we're dairy farmers as well. So I love doing stuff with the milk that we produce. As a family, we drink raw milk. We're very fortunate that the plastic jug goes out on the morning with my husband and comes back full with delicious sort of milk straight from the farm. I process things like yogurt with it. Oh, and that's reminded me. I know we were talking to Carl earlier from HDB, and we're talking about different cuts of beef. I've actually got a brisket. It's been cooking in the Arga. It's been cooking from about 6 o'clock this morning. I'm going to try to. One thing I love making with the yogurt that we do is a fresh cheese sort of dip, labna, which is an awesome kind of. It's sort of Middle Eastern. They use it in a lot of recipes. I'm just going to turn my camera around. I don't know if you can see that there.
Yeah, that's lovely.
So that's it's basically just a cheesecloth, and I let the yogurt sit in it last night overnight, and put some salt with it, and then we're going to have that tonight with our briskets, and I'm going to make some flatbreads as well to go with it. So a really sort of easy picky tea, I think, tonight, because it's hot and everyone doesn't want a full-on feast. I don't think tonight. It just needs to be something nice and picky,
nice and chilled and relaxed.
Yeah. Yes, but no, I mean. So sort of processing the milk ourselves, we love doing things like that for the family. And I'm also heavily involved in our sort of local food network over here in East Yorkshire. I do a bit of social media and things for them. And that's what's been so great about this sort of Northern Virtual Food Festival. It's really shining a light on some fantastic producers that we have here in the north.
Yeah, definitely. So what kind of food could we expect, obviously, when all this is reopened and people may go to have a wedding with you or maybe go to someone else's wedding with you? What sort of food can they expect from you guys?
Lots of long, slow cooking of things like beef brisket and thick rib. And I know you guys were talking about pulled pork earlier. So we tend to sort of focus on things like that. Different weddings, if it's a 3-course meal, fillet beef tend to be massively popular. But we kind of, our ethos is this idea of feasting. It's bringing people together through food. So things like our starters, lots of different things on the table for people to help themselves to, and some couples focus more on sort of Middle Eastern or sort of Mediterranean influences, or if it's sort of good old Yorkshire, then we're making things like meatballs and sausage rolls and just lots of pickles and seasonal like piccalillis and things for people to add to their food. And the idea is, instead of, we do things like a full-on sort of sit down 3-course meal, but we also do this idea of sharing food. So it's not plated and taken to the table. It's actually on the table when guests go and sit down. So it almost sort of, the food is part of the display, if you like, on people's tables in their marquee or venues. And then
it sounds similar. Is it like a grazing table you're talking about?
We do grazing tables, but this is more actually on the tables where people sit down. We definitely do grazing tables. It's something I love doing. One of our things are cheese towers. I love putting different cheeses together. I'm slightly obsessed, being dairy farmers, I'm slightly obsessed with different cheeses.
Do people use them as wedding cakes then?
Yeah. Yeah, it's... we started off mainly doing evening food with our converted horse box and serving things like posh hot dogs and things out of it, or mushroom halloumi rolls and more street foody things. But we've seen a huge turn in the past couple of years for grazing tables and having a cheese wedding cake and then slicing that up and then serving it with loads of our sourdough breads and crisp breads and pickles and chutneys and all that kind of stuff.
Deliciously Yorkshire and Lydia have both vouched for your beef being amazing. Do you want to explain a bit about the beef?
Yeah, so the reason we went for belted Galloway is because they're fantastic at grazing and then turning that grazed grass into amazing beef. So you can get very breeds of animals that are quite precious, like a dairy cow, for example. If you just stuck them on scrubland, they wouldn't do very well. They need really lush grass to be able to keep producing milk. But something like a Belted Galloway, you know, they were bred to be in the Highlands of Scotland and sort of turn land that you couldn't really grow anything else on. That, you know, they're turning that scrub into beef. I mean, as a chef, you will see different marbling and different cuts of beef and different breeds of beef. And I think personally, always a good test of a good quality sort of bit of beef is the actual taste of the fat and how it renders down. And I think if you've got something that is quickly produced and fed on grain, it's very different to something that's produced over years and fed on grass. It's not the most economical way of producing beef, but it's certainly the most tasty, I believe.
So obviously the beef's your main baby within it, isn't it, really? But then Emma has her garden kitchen.
Yes. It's being able to go out and pick herbs and sort of fresh salads is wonderful, and it adds to a really nice story. As you know, bride and groom spend a lot of time planning their wedding, and for them to be able to say to their guests that, you know, most of the food that is being used is produced locally, and the caterers are also growing it. I mean, what did you say for your wedding venue, that they've got sheep and it pretty much goes to the family butchers and then you have it?
Yeah, we've got lambs with probably, I couldn't even tell you how many acres, but we've got 3 farms in total. And the family butchers have been going for 100 years now, and if not more, I think. And the butchers is probably 100 yards from the farm, and it comes back to us again. So there's no real food miles, really. So it works really well. Did you hear us then, Charlotte?
Oh yeah, you're back again.
Yeah. Could you hear me then?
Sorry, it's our Yorkshire connection.
Yeah, up in the hills.
Well, I did try taking my phone to the cowshed earlier to sort of broadcast from there, but not a chance. I had no reception, so I don't know if you can maybe able to hear them. They'll be shouting for their tea soon.
Yeah, definitely. So if someone wanted to go foraging, there's obviously a lot out there that you can forage and that is edible. What is there at a minute that people might expect and might find?
So again, it depends on where you are in the country. If you're thinking of looking at foraging, there's some great, particularly on Facebook, some great pages to follow. Just Google foraging and look for the ones that have the most followers. They tend to be the ones that are most reliable. So yes, seasonality across the country does vary massively. I know up in sort of the Highlands of Scotland, wild garlic still isn't, it's just coming out up there. And so they will have it way into June and early parts of July, just because obviously it's slightly cooler. But where we are at the moment, there is Jack by the Hedge, which is a lovely kind of, I think it's probably part of it's like a mustard cress. It's probably part of the brassica family, although I'm not 100%, so I need to check that. But yeah, Jack by the Hedge, it's got beautiful white flowers on it and lovely leaves that are fantastic in salads. So there's loads of that about at the moment. Dandelions, leaves, the young leaves are lovely. One of the first things we noticed coming here is purple dead nettle, which have got lovely little sort of purple, they're almost like orchid sort of looking flowers on them, which we use on our canapes in sort of March, April, early May. Hawthorn leaves, they're probably getting a little bit too tough at the moment. They tend to be one of the first ones that we use sort of April, but then when they grow, they're nice when they're in the tight buds. But yeah, if people are genuinely interested, then I would I've just got a couple of books here that I use. There's a couple of books, I don't know if you can see them. Yeah. Which is, Richard Maybe.
Food for Free.
Food for Free. That's a fantastic starter book. And then if anyone's got kids, this is absolutely awesome. Look, if I can do that right now. And again, it's got some beautiful pictures in for children to follow. And again, obviously, I've got 4 kids, but it's you can teach them to forage safely. They know not to pick anything unless they've asked me first. So yeah, it's a great excuse to get out and about and just sort of see what's growing in the hedgerows.
Yeah, like on the front of that picture, dandelions on there and the blackberries and things like that. There's a lot of them out there, and a lot of people just can walk by and won't do them. Whereas people used to walk past bushes and eat fruits off them all the time.
Yes, they did. And I think if you are starting out, just focus on a few things. I still don't know everything. And there are certain things I won't forage because I'm not confident enough. Mushrooms, for example, I'm really happy at identifying field mushrooms and giant puffballs, but they're the only 2 that I am 100% confident in foraging. But I know somebody who's an awesome an awesome mushroom forager. And so we source our sort of loads of our mushrooms, wild mushrooms from there. And I think it's just about confidence and just knowing, choosing a few things first. If you're not confident in something you come across, take pictures of it. If there's plenty of it growing, bring some back to your home and research and have a look and just learn that way.
Yeah, definitely. Is there a favourite way you'd have to serve your beef?
Yes, something that's been cooked incredibly slowly. I know when we spoke about this earlier, we sort of, both agreed that brisket or sort of thick rib or something that you've literally left for hours to cook down is a great way of serving beef. When we first started farmers markets, everybody wanted topside and silverside. They were the cuts that people knew, they were confident with. It was sort of, Sunday roast. And also steaks. People wanted to buy steaks from us, and we were left with loads of the slow cuts, the cheeks, the skirt, the oxtail. And so I started sort of experimenting with it and just sort of saying, this is what you can do. Take this piece of thick rib. It's 1.5 kilos, and this is how long you want to cook it for, and everything. And by the end of it, we'd converted most people from buying the topside and silverside to buying the slow cooked bits of beef. So yeah, talk to your butchers, talk to, if you've got a farmer's market locally to you, talk to them. And I know you were when you were talking to Carl from DB earlier and asking about supermarket beef. We've got an awesome Morrison's near us. The butchers there, their knowledge is absolutely phenomenal. So, talk to your butcher, talk to the people that are sort of dealing with the beef.
Yeah,
and they should be able to give some pointers.
Just had another little quick question coming for you here about hawthorn leaves. What can you do with them?
So for some reason, and I'm still trying to find this out, something I'm also randomly interested in. I'm really interested in folklore, particularly folklore surrounding plants. Hawthorn leaves are known as bread and butter, but I'm still trying to find out where this has come from. We use ours as an early salad, great in a cheese sandwich. But as I say, they tend to get tough the longer in the season. It's the same with nettles. Nettles are a great thing as well with children. Obviously, they need to wear some form of gloves to be able to forage them, but they're really easy to identify. And once you either dry them or you put them in boiling water, you take the sting away from them. So hawthorn leaves we use in salads, and then something like nettles, we make teas out of them. Something really nice to do with them is when you dry, put them with some sourdough. They're really cool when we make some of our breads. Also, I don't know if anyone knows Cornish yarg. They use nettles to wrap their cheese in, which is a beautiful, not only a very, very tasty cheese, it's also one that looks fantastic.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, if anyone can find out where the name bread and butter comes from for early hawthorn leaves, please get in touch, because as of yet, I haven't found out.
So just want to talk a bit more about Field and Forage as a whole, really, because you're not all just the weddings. It's the whole big picture around everything, really, isn't it?
Yeah, from some farming background, we're absolutely passionate about field to fork. It's being engaged with the landscape, being engaged with your, where you're from, and food is just it. I keep saying it, but it really does bring people together. It's such a huge part of our sort of lives, isn't it? And it's always a big part of celebration. You don't really have a celebration without having some kind of feast or food with it, whether it's Easter or Christmas or Eid at the moment. There's so many things that we do as human beings that we celebrate, and food is always involved. So I think it's kind of, we're passionate about that, and it's bringing that passion to the meals that we serve, particularly when it's a celebration like somebody's wedding, because it's so important. It only happens once, hopefully, and it just really important to sort of celebrate the day with your family and friends with some great food. So I hope that that's what comes across anyway when I meet our couples.
So have you adapted your business in any way with Field and Forage since all this has happened? Are you now maybe selling your beef elsewhere?
No, we haven't had anything sent to slaughter yet. We have been toying with the idea, but it's just when we were fully locked down, because we use local butcher abattoirs, the logistic wasn't possible. Am I doing? No, to be honest with you. I mean, things like sorting the website out and the social media, the garden. It's kind of making sure the kitchen garden's ticking over and everything like that. As I've already mentioned, I've got 4 children, so that's kind of been my focus, the sort of focus there, really. It's also just sort of keeping couples that we've got, making sure they're okay and sorting out new dates for them and things like that. And then for some reason, this past week and a half has just gone bonkers for 2022 wedding inquiries.
Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah, I think a lot of people have now thinking, I want something to plan. What can we do?
Yes. Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
That is helping, really.
Yeah, and they've been in lockdown together with each other, and it's make or break, isn't it? I think it's if you're going to spend the rest of your lives together, if you survived through sort of lockdown, then have a celebration, get married. So yeah, it's been. I was really worried at the start of this about how the business would be going forward, but it's just, unfortunately, we are going to be stopped for a while. But as soon as we're going again, then fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be great to obviously get all back up and running with everything, because I can't wait to get back in the kitchen and start serving all my guests, to be fair. And it's been a shame, because like I was planned. I like yourself, you plan so many months in advance, because if you're sending your beef to slaughter, you probably would have sent some to slaughter ready for your weddings.
Yeah, absolutely. We had planned sort of March. I mean, for us, we've got the space to be able to keep stuff. We've got the capacity to keep the cows if they don't go, and we're just effectively having sort of a few months off. We are thinking about maybe getting some beef ready just to supply for. If anyone wants to collect from the farm. I'll put things up on our Facebook page in the next few weeks, but we're just waiting to hear whether it's okay, with transporting animals as well. And as I say, with the abattoir, just to make sure it's all okay for us to do that. But yeah, it's, as I say, from the farm point of view, not many things have changed because the farm has had to continue, but from Field and Forage, I guess experimentation, we've been doing quite a bit of that. So some new recipes, looking at what we're going to change for our 2022 menus, and just being positive and looking forward to when we can all get back to people's weddings. And they're going to be amazing parties, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. I think not just weddings. I think you might have quite a few party requests after this as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's another aspect of your business, isn't it? Going to maybe a big 50th party or an engagement party, and loads of other aspects you have to it.
Yeah, definitely. And just things like our feasting nights. We've had some brilliant ideas. We've had to you know, obviously they haven't taken place. Our last one was the Burns night supper, and we had a cheese and wine tasting evening as well just before we went into lockdown. But we celebrate Midsummers, and so sort of around the sort of 23rd of June, whichever the Saturday, for Friday, Saturday is, we hold a big Midsummers feast at the farm. And it's something we absolutely adore doing, but I think we're probably going to have to cancel that one this year. But again, for Yule, so at the opposite end of the year, around the sort of 21st, 22nd of December, we have a big Yule feast. And I'm really hoping, because last year's was awesome, I'm just really hoping we can get back to that, because food keeps coming in. It's like this 3-course, just anything. It's where I experiment, and we can only fit 30 people in our tasting bar, and I'm literally just throwing food at everybody and making sure nobody goes home hungry.
It'd be absolutely great, maybe, because obviously you won't be able to do the June because of the social distances. Maybe everyone join together on a Zoom.
Yeah, we could do that, couldn't we? We could have some kind of midsummer Zoom party. That would be brilliant.
Yeah, a midsummer Zoom virtual dinner.
Yeah,
all create a dinner, all have your tea together. It'd be quite a good little fun activity, that, really.
Yeah, absolutely. With sort of maybe some gin tasting going on virtually and all sorts. It'd be brilliant.
Yeah, I'm sure a couple of gin suppliers might love to get involved in something like that as well, like Masons or someone up that way.
Yeah, we have some awesome gin distilleries in. I've got my little part of my gin collection. I don't know if you can just see over my shoulder there. I know that makes me look slightly alcoholic, but they're mostly full bottles. But no, we have got some awesome ones. There's Hooting Owl, there's Masons. We've also got, obviously, whiskey, Spirit of Yorkshire here over near the coast.
Yes.
And yeah,
I've just been introduced to it. They have joined the festival. Fiddle, is it, or something like that? Fiddle Flyers or something? I can't remember the name of it. Distillery.
What's that? Sorry.
I said it's from the Distillery of Yorkshire.
Okay.
And that's a really interesting whiskey you have.
Yeah, it's sorry, I'm just going into my turn around here. That's the Spirit of Yorkshire one. That's oh, they're the malting ones. There is a prop there. That's the one, the pre-whiskey. I think the other one's in the barn. Just close that door. But yeah, there are. I mean, it's great. It's fantastic. I mean, I know the Spirit of Yorkshire is the sister company to Wild Top Brewery, and you know they're farmers, and so they're growing the barley that is going to the local maltings that they're feeding into their whiskey. It's brilliant. It's proper sort of field to fork stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And you're also involved with Deliciously Yorkshire as well, aren't you?
Yes, we joined a few years ago. It's mainly sort of for us, it's keeping up to date with everything that's going on in the region food wise. We don't have any, you know, our product, our beef, we're using all through field and forage. So we're sort of limited with that side of it, taking our products to market. But Deliciously Yorkshire have just been brilliant for networking. And also sort of from a catering point of view, you know, we've been recommended to people who want to showcase Yorkshire food. So we're really happy to do something like that as well.
Can you explain a bit about Deliciously Yorkshire for us? Because obviously we've not had them on, so just a little bit about their community and what they do.
Yeah, so it's a membership scheme for Yorkshire-based producers. I'm just trying to think. I think when we did the beef at farmers markets, that's when we were introduced to them, and we joined as field and forage just because we wanted mainly a networking thing and sort of meeting other people in the industry. And also suppliers. We were really, as I say, keen and passionate about using local food. But we didn't, you know, obviously limited to our beef. We want to use as much local produce as possible. And so we joined up to Deliciously Yorkshire, and we get a monthly newsletter. Not at the moment, but we get lots of networking events as well to join with them. The last one we went on was to Castle Howard, a behind the scenes tour of Castle Howard, which was absolutely awesome. So you know, just little things like that, and it was great just to hear about Castle Howard's ethos. I mean, they're huge. It's a huge, beautiful stately home, and they've got their own cafe restaurant and their own farm shop. And just listening to them talk about even though they're on a completely different scale and league to us, it was just fascinating to hear their passion about local food as well and what they're doing within their restaurant.
That's been lovely to hear from you, that. Because there's a lot of people involved with that, and we have a lot of amazing Yorkshire producers that have been involved with this weekend. So,
Yes.
Yeah, and hopefully we might arrange something again, another event soon. Hopefully it's in the pipeline. It's being talked about. And we shall see. Someone's actually just confirmed Fiddle Bay.
Filey Bay, that's
Filey Bay.
Brilliant.
Yes. I forgot the name off it. It's off of my head.
No, I understood what you're saying now. Yes, Spirit of Yorkshire, Filey Bay. So they've been basically the bottles I showed you. That was their pre-whiskey, and then they've just had their first and second release of whiskey, and it's Filey Bay. So yeah, check that out. And
it looks very strong. It's about 60%, I think, but it sounds nice. But yeah, it's been lovely. It's been lovely to talk to you about everything, Charlotte, and hopefully we can maybe meet up in the real world eventually.
Yes.
And have a little look around your farm. It'd be absolutely brilliant.
Well, thank you so much for having us on this weekend. It's we've really enjoyed it, and it's been really nice to sort of again see what everybody else is doing as well, and just seeing people again rather than just being stuck at home has been awesome. Thank you.
No problem. Well, do check out Field and Forage on their website, and it'd be lovely to obviously go to one of their tasting menus for people in the future who are in Yorkshire, or even take a trip up there. Thanks very much, guys, and take a little look at a hospitality action video.
Thank you.
Hospitality Action is a force for good. We offer lifelines to people who work or have worked in hospitality and find themselves in difficulty or crisis. We help people set their lives back on track. But not all of our stories have happy endings. For April, a secondary cancer diagnosis meant the best we could do for her was to take any financial worries off her mind.
I was diagnosed summer of 2018 with sarcoma cancer and attended Christie Hospital here in Manchester, and from there I've been on a journey with various chemo treatments and an operation. Oh, I've known about Hospitality Action for over 10 years. They've been very, very good to me. They have given me little Christmas presents. I came back on my holiday and I had a birthday present from them and a birthday card, which really surprised me. It was a nice little touch. I've been given a warming grant for heating, and I've been given different amounts of money paid at different times throughout the year. With VHA's help, I've been able to recently take a little trip down to London a couple of weeks ago, and with that I was able to sort of meet up with my friends, go out. We went to the West End, we went and seen the Tina Turner musical, and we had fun. You know, it doesn't take that much sort of to be with your friends and sort of having that sort of tranquility and fun. It's less pressure too. It's knowing that next month there'll be a sum coming in then too, and that'll pay off all the utility bills. So it's a safety net that's there, and I'm very, very grateful that it's there, that I'm able to use it.
Whatever life throws at you, isn't it great to know somebody's got your back when the going gets tough? Help us to help people like April, people like you. Hospitality Action, we've got you.
Ollie Hoyle, Catering Manager.
Peter Molar, Doorman.
Ricardo Oliva, Concierge.
Ulrich Edwards, Concierge Assistant.
We've got you.
Linda Anderson, cafe owner.
Ioana Georgiou, junior sous chef.
Nuno Pinto, bartender.
Mark Black, head porter.
Andrea Demir, receptionist.
We've got you.
Aaron Dixon, apprentice chef.
Federica Pinna, pastry chef.
Sabino Mazzone, pastry chef.
Himari Bochkay, barista supervisor.
We've got you. Shom Maharjan, sushi head chef.
Mitchell Collier,
Duty manager.
Anna Grabczewska, public area cleaner.
Whatever you do in hospitality, isn't it good to know that someone's got your back in case anything goes wrong?